and they also, right here again, they mention the wolf. That has absolutely nothing to do with the movie. One time I saw a wolf. Enough of the wolf talk, It just really has nothing to do with anything until the end of the movie. So then you got this rat who's protecting Mr. Franklin's apple cider alcohol or whatever. But the rat is played by Willem Dafoe. And of course he's works at Franklin Bean Security because Willem Dafoe is all about Franklin. Every movie he's in, it seems like it has to do with Antichrist and everything else. But anyway, they say something about a double standard here too. So just another two. It was a double standard. And I'm just gonna play this scene. You can read the captions. Basically, the wife comes down to get some jars of liquor or whatever, and he says he just needs two, and she says you had two yesterday or something like that. They do like a bunch of two and 3 references here, so you can just watch it. So basically, he says take two. She says you had three yesterday, and then he says all right, three then, and then she's like nope, two is fine. I don't know, it's just weird. And then right here, she says 12 years ago you made a promise. 12 years ago, 12 Fox years ago, you made a promise. So that's 2 years. I guess just let's watch what all she says here. Because she's mad at him for endangering their family. I don't know. I just think it's kind of crazy because he's the 666 guy. He's the beast, the Antichrist, whatever you want to call it, Lucifer, um, Satan. I don't know, but what I'm getting at is that she says like the only way that like his story's too predictable, and he's like, but I'm just a wild animal, and he can't stop what he wants to do, and then she says the story's too predictable, and the only way that everyone won't die in the end is if you change, but he will never change. It's pretty crazy. So all these farmers are trying to dig him out of this hole to kill him or whatever, and the farmer actually they go on the news even about it. That's how crazy it is. But look at it. It's Action 12. It's channel 12. And then right here, Nitrous Plus number 2. Then they blow it up, whatever. They still don't find them because they dug really deep. So this farmer goes, Boggs, how many men work on your farm? And I think he says 35. This guy says 36. And then he says 37. Then he does the math in his head. And I'll just play the clip here and I'll show you what I'm talking about. So he says, whatever that, carry the 0, divide by 2. I don't, why is he doing that? I don't get it. Carry the 0, divide by 2 when all he's doing is adding 35, 36, and 37. But check out what it is when he gets the total. 108. 108 is the total. So if he's dividing that by 2, that's actually 216. And of course, 6 times 6 times 6 is 216. And then he says divide by 2. So, and then he comes to 108. So he had to have came up with 216 and then divided by 2 for 108. And then, so after he says that's 108, he says, PD, drop everything and assemble all 108 members of our 3 combined workforces so they can start killing them or whatever. So he says 108 twice, which is 108 and 108, 216. 6 times 6 times 6. Then they mention it again. He even has the X on his helmet, the time, the cross. And this is the news saying this, so it's the news 2. The 12 is the 2, so 108, and then the news saying 108, whatever, so that's another 108 and 108. Also, 108 is 54 plus 54, which the mirror is 45 and 45. This is Bill Murray's character, and I said he's surrounded by 22s, 222, whatever. Um, and he's the Badger, and right here's where he calls him B, but he also works for Badger, Beaver, and Beaver attorney company or whatever. So it's BBB, the 222. But I'll just show you where he calls him B right here. Excuse me, B. Ooh, I messed up here. And then they're gonna get caught here, and this lady comes in, and they're gonna get caught, and then they're eating her cookies or whatever, and he's like, I gotta have 2 more or whatever. And they're like hiding out in the sewer or whatever. And up here it says 12 valve. So just another 12 reference. And then they synchronize their watches to 9:45 a.m., which 9 is 45 or 5 and 4, so 54 45 mirrors. Master Plan B 2. And I mean, with the news, they flash the 12 so many times. 12, 12. It's in the. I'm not even going to show them all. There's just a ton of 12s with the news in the towards the end of this movie. Right here, 28 pine cones fired, 22 targets hit. And this scene right here, like I'm telling you, this guy is he's the 666 guy. So they make a scene here where they want you to feel bad for him because he's just a wild animal or whatever. You can just watch it and read the captions. Okay, and then right here it's 21 A is 1, so 2, 11, 22. And just here's the 21A, and then there's the BEAN. The bean adds up to 22, and then you got your 21A, which is 22 as well. Then here in just a second, the one kid runs away, and he gets shot at. If it'll load here. And look, 8-gallon bucket. So then at the very end here, like they mentioned the wolf multiple times, but they're riding away on the motorcycle, and they see the wolf and they stop. And I'll just play the scene for you. So it's basically like they're like uniting with the wolf, and the wolf is Lupercalia, So they're like they tell him like live a good life, and they respect the wolf or whatever. And then they mentioned two twice at the end of the movie. He's giving a speech in the supermarket, and his tail gets shot off earlier in the movie, and he gets it back. So um, that's what he's talking about here. If it'll ever show it here. Maybe I didn't get it at the right spot. But basically, he says that his tail has to be dry cleaned twice a month, and then they talk about basically how the whole movie is. It's about surviving and changing. And then, well, I guess somewhere along the lines here too, his wife tells him that she's pregnant again. So it would be his second child. Oh, anyway, that's all I got. I think. Just take a look at this movie for yourself. There's definitely a lot of subliminals in this movie. Um, just yeah, it's just crazy. But anyway, have a great night.